Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I had to take a quick break from my subathon because guess what? I just got invited to the closed alpha for Stormgate. I am so bloody excited. It's starting up in July. I imagine this is just like the very first stage of testing, and I don't expect the game to be finished by any means. A closed alpha, obviously, it's just going to be them getting feedback and stuff, but a chance to
we should definitely, that's an important point that maybe I failed to do in my video. Everything that we're looking at right now is alpha, and did you see the Warcraft 3 beta pictures? Just as an example, I mean, video game programming stuff evolved a lot. But did you ever see that? It looked so different. Warcraft 3 beta screenshot. So this is what Warcraft 3 looked like in beta. It's of course super pixelated, but this, like, no UI, hero frames, that's about it. Like, is there more? I think there's more. Like, a lot can change. We had flying units in the beta. There was no UI in the beta. It was like, this was the resource indicator right there. Okay, now then later came a little bit of UI to it. Interesting that they went for a streamer friendlier approach in like 2002 that they did with Reforged. Yeah, so this is obviously not what Warcraft 3 looks like. This is even more similar to World of Warcraft. Look at the mini-map, guys. Like, the design of the mini-map. So much can change. This is then more like it. But also here, the UI is totally different. 4 inventory slots. This is pretty much the same on the right-hand side. But, yeah. Everything is, like, just by how much the UI changed from iteration to iteration tells us a lot. Look at the Dreadlord. Models can change, unit portraits can change, UI can change, graphics can change, everything can change at any given time. So just want to double down on that point that PiG did here.
On with the engine and the game being built by all of the RTS veterans that we're so excited for, people who are really putting the only serious effort we've ever seen to creating a true spiritual successor towards StarCraft 2. Now, I heard that I was invited and accepted into this at the same time as I heard about a whole bunch of other really cool secret news that I wish I could tell you about, but I can't. So a few days ago, there was the Stormgate VIP Summit. They got a bunch of content creators and people like myself feel very special that they call me a VIP, a very important pig. And they got us to come. We sat in a call or whatever, and they showed us just a bunch of amazing stuff about the game. All I'm really allowed to tell you right now is that it was awesome. You know, my general impressions is because they're announcing a whole bunch of stuff and they're doing a big reveal of a whole bunch of stuff at the PC gaming show. That's going to be on Sunday, June 11th. I believe some content creators will be co-streaming it. I will see if I can co-stream it. Otherwise, I'll do some content after it drops, kind of reviewing the material.
Well, if you can't, just watch it out, please.
Just what can I share? I mean, I can share my impression. My impression is awesome. Things look really cool. And a lot of the kind of little worries that started to creep into my head just because I was thinking about what could go wrong with like such a big scope of development. When I saw what they had to show, which I can't share. I really want to talk about the specifics.
Okay, before he goes into the negative side of things, I also want to say that I am way more excited about this game than I was, for example, for Age of Empire games, or Dawn of War games, or Warcraft clone XYZ that popped up on Steam.
Yeah, just it looks really good. It looks really exciting. It looks really clean. I can't wait until I can talk to you about it more when we're actually, having that reveal on June 11 at the PC Gaming Show. So get excited. Obviously, with closed alpha around the corner, even though that's closed alpha, and you guys probably aren't going to be seeing footage of that, the thing is, the game is clearly getting to a playable state. And they've already talked about playing in-house tournaments and all sorts of things like that with like...
Monk won that. Shout out Monk.
Neuro and stuff went down there and got to play it at their office. So this is bloody exciting. So other than just being a complete tease, they did also drop some assets, which I don't know if they've actually shown these publicly before. And they said, I'm allowed to show these. So let's take a look. So we've got here, well, it looks like a bunch of buildings, right? And I think what was most exciting here about these images is you can see compared to the earlier artworks we were seeing, which were mostly concept art and some, you know, kind of like concept in-game footage. A lot of people saying it was looking kind of like a mobile game. Oh, I don't know if that's the art style I want. I want it to be, you know, grittier. I want it to have more detail, this or that.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Like, people say it's looking like a mobile game. I like that cartoony look a lot. Like, obviously, Warcraft 3 also has a very cartoony look. And I think, yeah, it would be nice to have a little bit of realism and grittiness to it instead of the popping out flashy cartoony style. But I'd rather take a friendly, appealing comic look over realism, gritty, dark look when everything is mashing together like the ghouls do with the skeletons in Reforged and many other examples.
I think if you look at the detail in this, I mean, you can tell it just pops. It's going to be visibly super clear. It's got a very distinctive art style. And I actually think it looks really, really good.
So,
it's got a very distinctive art style. And I actually think it looks...
just judging from the Lancer kind of dude, compare this to a footman in Reforged. Just player color. This has... wait, you can't even see my cursor, right? Oh, you can? Can you not? I'm not too sure. Apparently not. But yeah, there's red everywhere. Bottom of the lands, middle of the lands, forearm plates, on the helmet that, of course, you're going to look from above, so you want to see that. Even on the shoes. Like, there's so much more player color on this one model than there is on the Footman and Reforged. It's insane in comparison. Also here, like, everything is red. You're going to see it immediately that this is for the red player.
And I actually think it looks really, really good. Because remember, you
here
need
maybe
things
not
to
so
pop
much
in an RTS so that they can be visually recognizable. What I love about Warcraft and StarCraft especially, I think Company of Heroes does a surprisingly good job for a realistic kind of style RTS, is that the units are very distinctive in that kind of shape and the way they pop off the screen, which when you're looking down at an army is surprisingly hard to do because of the scale. But you can see here, even quite zoomed in, the detail is really awesome, and I'm loving like the color schemes and the way everything's popping. It's pre-alpha. I'm sure things won't look quite like this. I mean, you look at the old StarCraft 2 beta and alpha models, and they don't look anything like what they ended up looking like.
Okay, I'm interested in that now. This is kind of what I talked about. Like, this is, of course, very dark and a bit gloomy. And on first view, it's kind of hard to see how many Terrans there are. It doesn't pop off so much from the ground. And this is pretty much what I want to say. Like, yeah, it might be darker and cooler and edgier, but it doesn't stand out from the ground too much. It's probably also a tile set kind of thing. But for the Protoss, it's better because they have less gray, for example, on a darkish ground. So that sticks out more, but for the Terran, that is too dark. Same-ish here. They changed the color, the red player color at a certain point, right? To be more bright, to help with that, if I'm not mistaken. Also here, a lot of clutter. Silhouettes aren't that great. So yeah, this is what people talk about when talking about the comic style.
But I'm loving that we're starting to see a lot more buildings and things are starting to get really rounded out. To me, I look at that and that looks way better just in terms of the detail compared to the earlier bits of sort of in-game artwork that we saw. I don't know if it's the shadows or like the lighting, but you can just, I don't know, it just looks better. It looks more detailed. It's still got a kind of cartoony pop to it, but it's also, it looks fantastic at the same time. I don't really know how to describe that. I always felt like StarCraft and Warcraft are very cartoony graphics, but they're detailed enough and beautiful enough, and they all kind of just blend really well.
Love the
while
trees,
being,
actually.
while being very distinctive. So I'm pretty excited by this, seeing a little bit
So,
of terrain.
oh wait, he's just
A
skipping
chicken
over this.
critter. So
this is something that is not talked about too much, I think. That's like 4 layers of height. There's the very, very bottom upper left. Then there's the second level here, or the upper left, second layer here on the left. Then another level in the middle and another uphill on the right-hand side. So in Warcraft, we basically only have 2, right? Also in StarCraft, there's either a cliff or it's not, but here we have 4 levels. Could be a game mechanic with like different height selections and different levels of terrain.
I'm pretty excited by this, seeing a little bit of terrain. A chicken critter. They're gonna have chickens, and what's the bet you can click on it to explode it?
1000%.
Another big old mech there as well. Is that the last one? I think that's the last one. So just a couple images to share with you guys. Obviously, it's exciting to get this game into our hands. I really feel that obviously some people might be going, oh, it's overhyped. Other people haven't heard about it still, just because I guess the RTS scene hasn't had as much pop for a while. I honestly feel like there's not much overhype going. I think the only thing is expectation. People are probably, I think some people are expecting like a super finished product, but I think what we're going to be seeing through this alpha and the future ones is going to be, and then the betas when those come open, is that literally it's going to be a little bit more of a game that probably develops in front of our eyes, simply because it is being made in way less of the time.
I mean, that's kind of typical for an RTS, right? Think of Reign of Chaos towards Frozen Throne, then think of StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and then the Protoss campaign. That also developed in front of our eyes, plus the patches that came after.
StarCraft 2 did definitely not have a closed alpha this soon into development. It took like 3-4 times as long to make. So I think it's going to be something we see it evolve. I think it's going to have, as long as the engine and the core gameplay in terms of like how the units work and how it can be built upon is solid, they can flesh out balance and design and extra game modes as time goes on. But I really love the fact that their philosophy from the start has been build a sick engine within Unreal, build all these custom tools and things to turn, you know, an FPS engine into a actually good RTS engine that can manage hundreds and thousands of units. So we don't know exactly when in July the beta is dropping, or this closed alpha, sorry, but it's not just people like myself that can get in, streamers and stuff. I believe this, it says they're selected through a combination of lottery. So there will just be some completely random people from the community if you've signed up, and specific testing criteria. And it will also include people who registered for the closed beta on playstormgate.com. So get over to playstormgate.com, click on that, register, and go on Steam and wishlist the game. This is a huge thing they're pushing for. Basically, that's a big way. I would imagine it's so they can get more investment to make sure the development's good. If you want the game to be as finished as possible when it comes out, get over to Steam and wishlist it. I believe they just cracked top 100 wishlisted games on Steam, which is apparently a pretty big milestone, especially for an RTS game. But get over there, wishlist it, go over to playstormgate.com and sign up for the closed alpha. Who knows, maybe you get in as well. I hope you're excited. I am. I wish I had more to share. I will be able to actually do a more in-depth video talking about specifics after June 11th. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.
June 11th, gameplay material. Everybody's pretty hyped about that, I guess. Yeah, I share that
Last week I got to
too many people are overhyped. For some people, it's not for them, really. I can understand that, but apart from that, we haven't seen anything. It's hard to get overhyped from when there's so little material. I don't know. It's not much to be hyped about at the moment, actually, except that it's a team of former Blizzard employees. And they got some good funding, and they have a good philosophy behind what they're doing.